at Wake Forest as we take a look at our starting lineups. One notable change for Jacksonville. Keith McDougal, coming in as one of the leading scorers for the Dolphins, will miss tonight's affair due to a personal issue. So the Dolphins get larger in their starting lineup. J.R. Holder makes his second career start, a freshman from Atlanta. Of course, for Wake Forest, Miller McIntyre, 3 consecutive 20-point games. Devin Thomas also back-to-back double-doubles. And Travis Mackay, the longtime veteran here in Winston-Salem, getting set to make his 98th consecutive start here at Wake Forest. Crowd still filing in here on this Monday evening. Glad you could join us for college basketball action. It should be a good one as this Wake Forest team looks to continue its fast start in this 2013-2014 campaign. Miller McIntyre, the sophomore from Concord, North Carolina, really starting to emerge this year for the Deeks, Stan. He's one of those players that could have a breakout season inside the ACC.
He's playing with a lot of confidence, as we said a moment ago, runs the floor well, is a very good complementary player to Madison Jones. When you have an inside game that's becoming established with Mackay, what he can do inside out, and definitely what Scott's been able to do with Thomas the last couple games, it makes it easier for this young man, Cody Miller McIntyre, to play, and he's really played well in the first 3 games of the season.
Wake Forest in the all-gold home uniforms tonight. Jacksonville in the road green unis with the gold trim. And we're just about set and ready to go. Jacksonville out of the Atlantic Sun Conference, picked to finish 4th in that league. The preseason media poll. Wake Forest, of course, in the ACC, picked 13th out of the 15-team conference.
Sounds odd to say that many numbers, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a new world order in college basketball these days. R.J. Slauson, the transfer from South Carolina, versus Devin Thomas. We are underway. The opening tip controlled by Wake as Miller McIntyre off to another fast start.
Quick start, be aggressive, play some solid defense. That's what you'll see out of Wake Forest. If Jacksonville plays to their numbers, they average about 82 points a game over 3 basketball games. This should be a fast tempo game.
Jacksonville lineup bigger with Holder in the starting 5. However, they want to push tempo to account for some of their rebounding deficiencies. Mackay inside, rejected on 2 occasions. Nicely done by Slauson. Stays with it. And the putback.
Slauson got long arms at 6'9", made it very difficult inside for Mackay. Mackay is so strong and the soft hands to finish.
Three-pointer by Holder, too strong. Thomas there to clean the glass. Over to Madison Jones. Can't make the chippy, but a foul's called. And Jones will head to the stripe to shoot 2. And that's something we're seeing more with Wake Forest this year, Stan. Pushing tempo with all these great athletes.
When we talked to Jeff Bizdelic early in the season at the preseason game against Brevard, he talked about putting pressure on the basketball after makes and misses at times, running at every opportunity. They feel like you've got a guy like Thomas that can control the glass, along with Kavanaugh and also with Mackay. You can run, and you're seeing a good example of that so far.
Jones 50% from the stripe this year, misses the first. Foul win against Vince Martin, his first. Jones, the sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina, 5-0 Deeks.
Vince Martin, one of 4 guys playing tonight, an average in double figures, a very good ball handler, small, can take jump shots.
Wake Forest opens up an a man-to-man defense. Haywood, the jumper from 17, is good. Make that Martin with the basket, and quickly ahead to Mackay, the easy finish.
Get it out of the basket, run the floor. If you got bigs running, perimeter guys making good passes, makes for easy basketball. Wake off to a very impressive start.
Inside Slauson, out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover for the Dolphins.
One of the things that you'll notice about teams that run the floor and get easy baskets, the defense becomes very contagious. You saw great weak side help causing another turnover. If you can continue to do that all game long, it poses easy baskets and a lot of enthusiasm, not only for the bench, but for the team and for the fans.
Our first look at Tyler Kavanaugh. Baseline jumper's good.
Nice start for Tyler Kavanaugh. Yet to make a three-point basket, but been very solid on the perimeter.
Haywood the other direction. The foul called as Mackay picks up his first. Or they'll get Kavanaugh, rather. That'll be his first. And heading to the line will be Jarvis Haywood. 83% this year.
Haywood, one of 4 guys on this Jacksonville Dolphin basketball team that hail from North Carolina. Played at Harding High School.
We're told a nice contingent of fans expected to be in the house tonight supporting Jacksonville as a result. You see Cliff Warren in his 9th season with the Dolphins. All-time winningest coach in Jacksonville history. Haywood 1 for 2. It's 9-3, and here's a turnover. First of the game for the Deeks. And quickly ahead to Dawson.
Madison Jones got caught in midair in transition, looking for Kavanaugh, not quite ready. Kind of just floats the ball, it's intercepted. But you'll take one of those plays like that because you're trying to get in transition. And if you miss or have a turnover, the other team's going to try to push it down the floor real quick. Javon Dawson misses the layup, ball goes out of bounds. Dolphin ball.
And a hook shot by Bogus missed in the post. Jones rejected inside. It'll stay with the Deeks. One thing we've seen from Wake Forest this season as opposed to last, getting out to faster starts, trying to put teams away. Wins over Colgate, VMI, and Presbyterian. Stan, they've done a great job of that this year.
Well, they struggled against Colgate, not getting their transition game going. Colgate shot phenomenal, but in the VMI game, which you and I both saw, and on Friday night against Presbyterian, using their size to go inside and kick it outside for perimeter shooters like that.
Mackay for 3. So underrated from long range. Travis Mackay, the senior from Richmond, Virginia. And an offensive foul as Martin tried to drive into the paint. R.J. Slauson will pick up his first.
These guys inside battling. And see Slauson take his left arm and kind of hold off Thomas and hold him for the backside. That's where the foul call comes. Good job officiating that time. 2-2-1, three-quarter court pressure by Jacksonville. Wake Forest should handle that pretty easy.
Deeks with their largest lead at 9. And this is how Jacksonville tries to get you with these kinds of turnovers. And a foul called on Miller McIntyre, trying to prevent the easy basket.
We talked about Jarvis Haywood at the opening of the show, a guy that's a very good athlete. Watch this, gets down in good defensive stance, gets his hands on that basketball by Miller McIntyre. A little lackadaisical with the dribble, getting in front of a defender. He makes him pay, Haywood does.
Haywood, All-Atlantic Sun freshman team a season ago, and a strong conversion there. The and one opportunity for Jarvis Haywood.
See how contagious, as we just talked, he had a great play on the defensive end with the steal, this time in an offensive set. And we talked about this the other day, that one of the things you're going to have to do this year with the way games are going to be called, you got to make free throws. And if you're a one-on-one player, that's the freedom of movement. They want you to be able to drive. Haywood does a great job driving, getting to the rim, getting contact, and going to the line.
And he converts the good old-fashioned three-point play. Sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. Jacksonville trailing now 12-6.
First game of the season, Haywood had 17 points, couple rebounds against.
And Mackay, the open 3. 2 for 2 from behind the arc.
And he shot that with so much confidence, didn't he? Did not hesitate.
Mackay coming in averaging just under 10 points per contest, trailing Miller McIntyre and Devin Thomas. You know that's not going to stay that way the entire season. Haywood the air ball. And here's Miller McIntyre where he's so strong. 4 points for Cody Miller McIntyre, averaging 21 plus thus far. Even in heavy traffic, very impressive. 11-point advantage for the Deeks. Martin amongst the trees, the tough finish. And nicely done by Vince Martin, now with 6 points.
Good timeout by Cliff Warren. Didn't like the way they played defensively. He said, our defense is going to get us some offense. Comes out of the timeout, gets a basket. 2-3 zone by Jacksonville. You've got to recognize that, know where your shooters are. Move the ball from side to side, inside out, you'll get something.
And Mackay in and out. Thomas the rebound, rejected, and Dawson comes up with it. Here come the Dolphins in transition. And the late 3, Holder, misses everything. And Miller McIntyre, how many times have we seen it?
You got to pick him up and stay down. You can't not just kind of play Olay defense. One quick dribble, boom, and he explodes to the basket.
Martin in and out with the three. Rebound to Mackay. And here come the Deacons. Madison Jones feeds Kavanaugh. And Thomas there with the rebound. Devin Thomas, the sophomore from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, an ACC All-Freshman team member a season ago. And, of course, younger brother of Alyssa Thomas, Women's Basketball Player of the Year in the ACC. Another and one opportunity here for the Dolphins as Slauson converts. And we head to our under 16 media timeout. And at the stripe will be R.J. Slauson, transferred in from the University of South Carolina and coming off a career-high 19 in the loss to Gardner-Webb last time out for the Dolphins. And he cuts the lead back down to 10. Alamoto checking in the game for the first time for Wake Forest. And at the bottom of your screen,
Washington as well. We're trying to get Washington some more quality minutes. He's been very impressive in his last two ball games.
Slauson can't convert the chippy and a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Jacksonville.
Two things you're seeing if you're a Wake Forest fan you got to like. One is the fact that because they're running in transition and conversion, getting baskets, 9 out of 15 shooting, an excellent shooting percentage of 60%. Second thing is we just saw a graphic a second ago. They're out rebounding their opponents by almost 13 a ball game so far, plus 10 so far in this game.
A 12-2 advantage. And even with a taller Jacksonville lineup, Wake able to take advantage on the boards.
Well, you're forcing Jacksonville to be 4 of 11 shooting so far, and a lot of those shots have been contested in the paint shots, mid-range jump shots. When you got a guy like that young man, Mr. Washington, 7-footer, long arms, contesting, makes it hard to score in the paint.
Yeah, career high 14 minutes his last time out, as well as 5 rebounds.
Yeah, I really think he can give them a quality 10 to 15 minutes a ball game this season. If he can, that just gives them even more size and more versatility in the post, in the 3, 4, 5 men.
So our first look at Tyler Alderman, who just checked in the game. And the quick conversion by Cordario Fleming. Sophomore out of Memphis, Tennessee, his first basket of the game. Jacksonville back within 8.
Another guy that was on that all-freshman team last year is a guy that can rebound, can score the ball, put it on the floor, make an easy basket. Well, you got Williams in the game now. Was a hot shooter on Friday night. See if they can find him for an open jump shot, get him going again.
Nice ball movement, Karan Williams for 3, right on cue. Transfer from Robert Morrison, off to a fast start here in Winston-Salem. And Hunt driving to the basket. Foul will be on the floor. It'll stay with the Dolphins.
Ron Williams, just so it'd make that jump shot, made 74 three-pointers last year at Robert Morris. Already 6 this season. But there's a hand check. See, the moment that hand there, they're going to call that foul.
We really are seeing an adjustment nationwide. Turnover here for Jacksonville and a quick foul called. Thus far, Stan, I think it will be good for the game, even though it may be hard to tell here the first 2 weeks of the season the exact impact.
You know, you're right. When I saw this a week ago, first game, I wasn't at all happy. I didn't notice it quite as much in our games that I saw Friday and one on the weekend as well. I think it's going to take some adjustment, but you definitely noted as we get into closer in conference play, the more intensity of certain ball games, there's going to be a lot of fouls, and we just got to figure out a way to make sure everybody adjusts. Nice pass. Finish.
Nice pass. The strong finish, Andre Washington. How about the high-low action that time? Roundtree to Washington.
Roundtree, such an unselfish player, plays really good defense on one end, an excellent passer, can see the floor very well at 6'8". Nice pass, Washington with the flush.
His shot, and with the board is Williams, shoved out of bounds by Alderman. That'll be his first. And Wake Forest already with its largest lead, looking to build on that 13-point advantage. John Williams. Heat check. Dalamoto, the rebound off the glass.
They like his intangibles. He's got size, great footwork, hands are getting better. Roundtree again, help side defense, gets a deflection.
Much more depended on tonight with Jarvis Haywood, given the loss of Keith McDougald in this game. A late scratch due to a personal issue. And one of 5 Dolphin players averaging double figures coming in.
I know if you're Jacksonville, you like to push the paint, get some baskets inside, take some three-pointers. They haven't made a lot of threes this year, only 15 so far. But they're going to have to find a way to get some stops on the defensive end because they're one and done right now.
Wake Forest owning the glass thus far. Miller McIntyre, Roundtree. And the blocking foul called against Jacksonville. 28-13 our score. The Deeks, the high-low magic working here early on. Continuing to emerge this season. Wake Forest, its largest lead at 15. The strength of a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Inside, Washington with the miss. And the rebound, Alderman. Nice ball. Inside, Washington with the miss. And the rebound, Alderman. Nice ball movement by the Dolphins. Hunt over to Fleming. And that shot contested again. Wake Forest forcing 3 air balls in the first 9 minutes. Dalamoto. And that time Washington caught in no man's land. Haywood, the three-point miss. Alderman, right place, right time. Can convert.
Got to finish those, big fella. Got to finish those.
Pair of huge misses there. Wake Forest with momentum and trying to continue this strong 7-0 run.
Washington brought the ball down low. Guards can steal that way.
And finally, Fleming draws the foul. Cordario Fleming, sophomore out of Memphis, Tennessee. Lots expected of him this season for Jacksonville.
Pushing down the floor. Again, you've got to finish plays. Nice attack that time by Fleming. Gets the ball deflected. Doesn't give up on the play. Second play by Roundtree causes the foul.
Fleming 44% from the stripe this season, averaging right at 28 minutes per game. Going back to last year. Jacksonville team 1-2 coming into tonight. A loss at Florida State as Fleming misses the first. A 29-point victory against Florida College. And most recently a 9-point setback to Gardner-Webb. You talk about playing in the Atlantic Sun Conference. This is a league that saw Florida Gulf Coast make a deep run in the tournament last year. You think about Mercer and the program that they've developed. Oh, it's a tough league, even if you haven't necessarily heard of it. And Fleming misses a pair.
Wake Forest gone a couple possessions without scoring. Jacksonville's got to find a way to take advantage of that. 10 minutes left. Cut this lead. You want to think 10-10. Be at 10 points under 10 minutes. Nice block.
This rejection inside is Slauson coming in. Jacksonville off to the races. There's the hand check and another foul. Madison Jones pick up his second.
If you're Jacksonville, you've got to take advantage of this lull, and you can see a good, nice drive this time. by Sam Hunt, another one of these local guys, comes from Greensboro. Getting the game and at the end of the defensive play, you can see where Madison Jones just kind of got a little lazy, got out of his defensive stance, reached, the foul called.
Sam Hunt 64% from the stripe. And first point of the game. That'll snap the 7-0 Wake Forest run, and the first point scored in just about 4 minutes of game time.
Now let's see if Hunt makes his free throw. Will Jacksonville elect to put a little more pressure on the ball? They show a little bit of a two-guard front there. A 1-2-1-1.
Wake Forest has done a pretty good job managing that three-quarter court pressure.
But what it does is it takes some time off the clock for Wake Forest. Then they start their offense with about 22, 23 seconds to go.
Jones inside, Adalamoto, the miss. And back to Adalamoto, nice save, and the bucket. His second of the game, he now has 4. Wake Forest has led throughout. Matching their largest lead now. Slauson inside. Nice move.
We saw high-low a few moments ago to Washington and score. This time Slauson uses his long arms and catches it, powers up from the inside. Nice play.
Karan Williams for 3. Well, it's a nice-looking shot. Second one of the evening.
If you don't know it by now, you better start watching some ball games because this is an excellent spot shooter.
Shot 42% from long range last season. Hunt the layup.
Doesn't take him long to get warmed up, and he's one of those volume guys where if he gets one, he may get a second. If he gets that second, he's going to knock the third one down. Great looks a moment ago, too.
Jacksonville back in that 2-3 zone. Here's Madison Jones. Inside out. Mackay. And the Dolphins a bit unlucky that time. Kavanaugh called for the travel. And that'll be the 5th turnover of the game for Wake Forest.
Long jump shot this time by Mackay. He's getting comfortable out on the perimeter. Kavanaugh does a nice job right here. Now watch his feet. Bump, bump. I'll give him the travel. Thought he may have established that pivot foot inside. Sean Hall saw differently.
Under 8 to play in our first half. Deacons leading by 14. It's our first look at Marcel White. Short. Rebound comes down to Miles Overton, who just checked in. Kavanaugh still looking for his first three-pointer of the season. And the up and under move will force the Jacksonville foul. 7:42 remaining here in our first half at Joel Coliseum, Wake Forest.
And Roy, to add on to that, 8 guys have scored for Wake Forest so far in this ball game. So you got a lot of guys stepping up. There's a lot of balance.
Almost a case of pick your poison. 3 ball on the way, and down it goes for Marcel White. Dolphins now 1 for 5 from behind the arc. And the lead is trimmed to 11.
Excellent freshman player from Lake Wales, Florida.
Good defense by Alderman.
Alderman's got those long arms at 6'9", had a 4-block shot game Saturday against Gardner-Webb, and really did a nice job that time of holding position, not trying to overcommit, stay where you are, just play above in verticality, gets a block.
Overton, the jump stop, and Kavanaugh fighting for the board. Foul will go against the Dolphins as Marcel White picks up his first.
No, I mentioned a minute ago that you thought that Washington could be one of those X-factor guys and can give you 10 to 15 minutes a game. A guy that starts that you don't really talk a lot about is Tyler Kavanaugh. Goes about 6'8", 6'9", can step out and make jump shots. We've seen him battle inside and score. Remember, he's only a sophomore. Last year he had 4 games in double figures. Again, if you get Kavanaugh giving you another solid 20 to 25 minutes, along with what we're going to get out of Mackay and the perimeter game, I think that just shows you the versatility and the depth of this Wake Forest basketball team this year. A lot of guys playing a lot of spots and doing it well.
Kavanaugh can also step outside with the three. Haven't seen it as much this season, but he's got that ability.
Yeah, hasn't made a three-pointer yet this season. Made 14 last year in his freshman campaign.
Sam Hunt, the open trade. So Jacksonville now, after missing its first 5 shots from behind the arc, connects on its next 2, and Jeff Bestella.
Sophomores have got to become sophomores. Still active, still getting the big eyes and excited about things, but a little more mature. Now they know what to expect when you go into hostile environments in the ACC and being ready to play in bigger games. They've got a big one coming soon against Kansas.
Overton misses the 3. It'll stay with the Deacs. That Kansas game will be on Thanksgiving night. In between, they'll host the Citadel later this week. And talk about an eye-opener, that one, with Wake facing the Jayhawks and Andrew Wiggins.
Well, what they're going to have to do is continue to execute like they've done and understand they're stepping up in competition, and this will be a great challenge for them.
Mackay the miss, and the foul will go against the Deacs. So Jacksonville now has trimmed that 15-point lead down to 9. And this will be a one-on-one opportunity as Thomas picks up his 3rd foul. And that'll be a developing story. Devin Thomas now with 3.
Yeah, and you look on the floor and you saw Cody Miller-McIntyre kind of getting the guys in, talking to him. Thomas going out of the ball game, but on the floor a moment ago you had a freshman in Overton, 3 sophomores, and a senior on the court. So it's a young team, and they've had that lull now. They started out really effective. They were efficient. They were excited. Some turnovers, a couple bad shots. Now, can they fight back this final 6:27? Let's make a note of this. Let's play a little game with ourselves today. 6:27, 34-25, Wake Forest lead. Let's see how they play with Thomas with 3 fouls. The final 6:25, 26 now.
Devon Dawson, the missed free throw, somehow gets it back, and a timeout called. Good effort that time for the transfer. Try to trim this 9-point deficit a little bit more. Hunt will try to do that. Nice set play out of the timeout. Rebound comes down to Martin. And Wake Forest now showing zone pressure. Alderman called for the travel. Boy, it looked like he was going to call the foul. Instead, I think the correct call.
Yeah, well, he was never set in the post. And I was watching those 2 guys, he and Washington, kind of bang inside. And Alderman just never really kind of asked for the basketball. As a post guy, you got to get position on the guy and want it. He kind of got the ball by committee. Like, look what I found. Not ready to score in the paint. Trap that time on the wing, try to get the ball out of Jones's hands.
Oh, a sweet shot by Miller-McIntyre. Perfect 4 for 4 from the field. He now has 8. And the turnover, and Wake Forest will take over. So the Deacs building that lead back to 11.
Alderman did a really nice job of running down the floor, getting his head under the basket. But as you've heard me say many times, catch the ball with 2 hands. He reached out with 1. The pass was long. He stepped out. That's when you don't need to have a 15 shoe. You need to have a size 11 shoe. Those 4 inches would have saved him then.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm about a size 9.
I understand that.
Miller-McIntyre again under control. Front rim rebound comes down to the Dolphins. Fleming.
No fast break points for Jacksonville so far, and that's the reason why. Wake doing a great job of getting back on defense, and then the foul call.
6 Dolphin turnovers here in this first half. Wake Forest trying to take advantage again as Jones goes back to the stripe. Now this is something they would like to get corrected early on. Jones just 50% from the line. Certainly has a better stroke than that, the sophomore out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And now 1 for 3 from the line tonight.
There's a team, Wake Forest, shooting about 67%. That's going to have to get better as the season goes. Good block.
Andre Washington, the rejection. Quickly ahead to Miller-McIntyre, and he can't finish. Boy, the house was about to come down with that one. Instead, Jacksonville will try to capitalize. And Alderman does exactly that. First points of the game for Tyler Alderman, the sophomore out of Fishers, Indiana. High low again, the rejection inside. Coming in was Fleming. And Alderman the rebound off the Mackay miss.
Oh, great play by Madison Jones that time. Comes up on the weak side, causes the travel by Vince Martin. But you got action on both sides of the floor. Catch it. Watch this. Now watch the second. See, catches it, and there's a travel just before what probably would have been a foul call.
Bang, bang play. Jacksonville on the wrong end.
But Wake Forest not patient in finishing plays inside. Jacksonville doing a nice job, a much better job than they did early in getting rebounds, not allowing second chance opportunities for the Demon Deacons. Big, wide 2-3 zone now. Move the ball, find a gap, there should be a shot.
Baseline jumper missed by Washington.
You want Washington taking that baseline shot, but maybe with this run might not have been the best shot for him.
Right elbow Martin. Can't get the roll. The putback by Marcel White. He now has 5.
Man, Marcel White showing some of his athleticism. Long arms at 6'6", gets up and gets the tap in.
And Jacksonville has cut that lead in half in the span of the last 5 minutes.
That's a nice move.
And here's the steal quickly to Madison Jones. Rejected. Miller McIntyre, Roundtree the miss, but he'll head to the charity stripe as Fleming picks up his first. 38-29 our score, 3:26 remaining.
Make it too.
Roundtree at the line, just 14% this season. Misses the first.
You remember when we talked a few minutes ago, maybe about the 12-minute mark, about Wake Forest dominating inside the paint? Well, in the last couple of minutes, Jacksonville's done a much better job on the defensive end. They're getting a better job rebounding. They're still out rebounded by 10, but now only 4 points difference points in the paint. 20 for the Demon Deacons, 16 for the Dolphins.
Jacksonville Dolphins out of the Atlantic Sun, Wake Forest in the ACC. Deacs have led by as many as 15, now with a 10-point advantage.
Want to finish strong, both teams.
Right here before halftime, critical stretch. Alderman the miss from 17. And Mackay tiptoeing the sideline. Here comes the senior Mackay, a bit out of control, but draws the foul going to the rim.
And before we went to that break at 3:26, give props to Washington. Had a shot blocked a moment ago, didn't look polished in the paint, missed that mid-range jumper, but then took the little big step across the lane with the jump hook and scored. And you remember as we were rolling out the break, kind of gave himself a little pump fist. Those are the kind of plays that can give him some enthusiasm and continue to build his confidence. Getting some solid minutes right now.
Oh, yeah. Mackay perfect from the line this year. And Sam Hunt exits the game with 3 fouls.
He's perfect. You said that.
And he remains perfect.
All right. Just don't want the big fella mad at me.
12-point lead for Wake Forest. Under 3 minutes to play in our first half. Alderman again. Outside the 3 ball for White. Marcel White's been a huge spark off the bench.
Excellent job by Alderman sucking the defense in, getting Washington committed, and the weak side defender to come over to help. It gives for a wide open jump shot. White knocks it down.
Now leads the Dolphins in scoring with 8, including those 2 trays.
And one thing this 2-3 zone of Jacksonville has been able to do, they have slowed down Wake Forest a little bit, make them a little conservative in their offensive attack.
Well, that's a shot you'll live with right there from Roundtree. Here come the Dolphins.
Got numbers.
And a strong move as Jarvis Haywood picks up the foul. And Stan will have a chance to cut this lead back to 7.
See, I think you're going to see a lot of this season out of every team. If you guys in the open court, and that's what they want, freedom of movement. You see the defender kind of sized up. Not a great job of getting down in the defensive stance by Roundtree. Normally a pretty solid defender. Picks up the foul. He goes to the free throw line.
Haywood 2 of 3 from the line tonight. Make it 3 of 4. Dalamoto checks in. Roundtree back to the Wake Forest bench. A nice luxury for Jeff Bezdelic with all these different bigs. Got your physical players, your rangy players. And the lead is cut once again to 7.
Let's see if Jacksonville can finish strong. 2:05 to go. Wake Forest with one dominant premier perimeter shooter, that being Williams. Mackay can also make them.
Mackay to Adalamoto, and another strong move. Send him back to the stripe.
We're seeing a lot of great ball movement and inside-outside. Stop the drive there, and then you see there's a double team cut to the basket. The one thing I wouldn't want Adalamoto to maybe do is put the ball to the floor. Even though he gets contact, he'll go to the free throw line. But you want to try to catch that and finish that in the same motion when you're in the paint.
Adalamoto now with 5 points off the Wake Forest bench. Came in averaging right at 5 per. Haywood nearly loses it.
Plenty of time on the clock for Jacksonville, 15.
And the fall away Jay by Vince Martin. Back iron, but draws the foul.
Wake Forest showed a little bit of a zone that time. Maybe trying to protect a couple of guys. Jacksonville very aggressive, getting that loose ball, giving yourself a second opportunity. High ball screen here. Try to get a drive, and you see just a little bit of body contact by Adalamoto.
Vince Martin coming to Jacksonville from Young Harris College in Georgia. Stan actually led the Peach Belt Conference in assists a season ago at over 8 per. As Kavanaugh checks back in, and he's been a nice addition. Graduate student out of Marietta, Georgia.
Averaged about 17 points a game, was an all-conference performer. Had 3 double-figure games so far in this season. Got rid of that free throw just a little bit too quick, but shoots about 87% on the season. Like you said, it's been a welcome addition for the Jacksonville basketball team.
7-point game.
See, there's a great look right there at that 2-3 zone. You can take it right to that ACC, and some good things are going to happen.
And Mackay loses it out of bounds. That'll be 6 first-half turnovers for the Demon Deacons.
And what was such a big lead is now a 7-point lead with almost a minute to play. Jacksonville's got to be very happy with their effort the last 10 minutes.
Martin inside. Deflected. It'll stay with the Dolphins. Stan, you get the sense of Jacksonville can cut this lead inside of 5 going to halftime. You'd feel pretty good about that.
No question.
Haywood, another near turnover, and in fact, it'll go out of bounds and stay with Jacksonville. It's about the 3rd or 4th time we've seen him lose control and fall to the court. Let's take another look.
A little cute there, diving. Love the effort by both players. Easily goes off the foot of Mackay. 20 on the shot clock now for Jacksonville, so you got plenty of time. Recognize what's going on. You don't have to take a quick shot. Get a basket, cut this thing even further.
Haywood nearly traveled, gets inside off the glass.
Haywood did a really nice job coming off the screen at the top, and then the hesitation dribble once he got the basketball allowed him to get to the rim.
Haywood now with 8 points, and Wake Forest content to run a little clock. Although there's a 10-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. And Cliff Warren imploring his team. You see at the top of your screen. As close as it's been in nearly 12 minutes of game time. Mackay the miss. Adalamoto the rebound. And here's a turnover. Miller McIntyre 2-on-2. In and out. Rebound. Kavanaugh.
Is saddled with the fouls, and also with Cody Miller McIntyre. That just makes this an even more balanced team. He's going to get his, and he's getting them within the confines of the offense. So I'm very impressed with how Travis Mackay's played so far this season.
Wake Forest with possession. Opening of the second half is Kavanaugh back to work. He'll draw the foul. Crashing down was J.R. Holder. Keep in mind, Jacksonville tonight without one of its key scorers, and Keith McDougal missing this game with a personal issue.
Ball deflected inside right there, but again, Kavanaugh very smart, gets the ball. You see what he did? He had a fake. He had a head and shoulder fake. Then he power dribbles one time. You get the defender up in his air, again, boom, get the foul call. Very smart play by Kavanaugh.
Just underway, second half. Wake Forest led by as many as 15 in the first.
This zone was very effective for Jacksonville. The waning 7 or 8 minutes of the first half. Kavanaugh point-blank shot misses. Can Jacksonville convert?
Dawson in the paint, nicely done. Make that Haywood, Jarvis Haywood.
Haywood, a very quiet 8 points, 2 of 6 field goals in the first half. Gets off to a good start. Nice being able to put the ball down on the floor, extend, and get the layup.
Made his last 2 field goals, now in double figures with 10. And Madison Jones will draw the foul. That was a bailout call. Slauson right there waiting for him. And R.J. Slauson, the transfer from South Carolina, pick up at his second. Make that his third.
Watch this contact. Just right there. Just enough contact that they are going to call that foul. Back in the day, that was just a play on.
Jones 1 for 4 now from the free throw line.
Wake Forest continuing their woes. 6 of 11 in the first half at the line. Misses the first one. And until someone proves me wrong, I don't think you're going to on this one. Free throws have always been very vital for any team's success. But I think now with a closer context of officiating, you're going to get to the bonus a lot quicker. You're going to have more opportunities to score. You're going to have to be able to free throw, make, and then also rebound those missed shot opportunities and score out of those.
Wake Forest a 7-point lead. Under 19 to play. Holder outside Alderman. Rebound comes down to Miller McIntyre. Martin the other way. Holder. Too strong. We had Haywood wide open on the wing, elected to go up, couldn't convert. And Mackay, looking for the flush, draws the foul. And Mackay saying he got hit right on top of the head. Tell you what, Stan, that doesn't feel good.
In transition, very patient, look away pass. You see the contact going up.
Foul on Holder, that'll be his second. Travis Mackay remains perfect at the stripe this season. Now with 13 points tonight. And Marcel White, the first half hero off the Jacksonville bench, back in.
Mackay last season had 23 games where he scored in double figures. As we said, the leading returning rebounder and scorer in the ACC. Averaged 13.5 points, 7 rebounds from the 2012-2013 campaign.
You know, it seems like we said the same thing about Mackay last year returning.
Yeah.
As one of the top producers inside the ACC. 10-point game inside to White. And the and one opportunity is going up with it was Cordario Fleming. And a chance for Jacksonville to slice this lead back to 7.
Cordario Fleming, the sophomore out of Memphis, Tennessee. Making the Demon Deacon sing the blues a little bit right there. Catch it after the follow. So yeah, count that.
And Stan, you get the sense that momentum kind of hanging in the balance to open this second half for both teams. Who's willing to grab it first? And Fleming completes a 3-point play.
Well, it's a game of runs, and if you can get a run right now, if you're Jacksonville, you're right back in this game down 7. That 2-3 zone continues to just give Wake Forest just a little trouble there. Hesitation. Got to find shooters and gaps.
Madison Jones, Devin Thomas, strong finish with the left hand.
You see the little step through that time by Thomas. Good finish.
And here's Marcel White. White aggressive. Thomas there for the board. 2-point Wake Forest lead. The missed three, that was Miller McIntyre. And now a 3-on-3 break. Over to Fleming. And all of a sudden, Jacksonville once again hanging around and trimming that lead back to 7. To play, a near turnover. Thomas the foul, an easy call as Fleming hacked him from behind.
When you have guards that can penetrate your defense and make it very difficult, it makes it easy as a big guy. All you've got to do is make certain you catch the ball. Good things are going to happen to you. That's an easy foul that time call. Fleming, you're across the arm. Now you go in and you make those free throws. But really nice job of penetrating, seeing the entire floor by Madison Jones, and then being able to catch the ball inside by Devin Thomas.
Well, Devin Thomas opened this season with 23 points in the victory against Colgate. 11 for 5 from the field. But you look at that body as he starts to develop here at Wake. Power, strength, and now back-to-back double-doubles. 5 points tonight, 9 rebounds, make it 6. And well on his way once again.
He just does a lot of things well. Great body, good hands, footwork's getting better.
Haywood left wing, now into the paint, stop and pop, gets a roll.
Jarvis Haywood showing you a lot of body control that time. Drives in, gets some contact.
Stanley's made his last 3 field goal attempts now with 12 points to lead the Dolphins. And a near turnover as Adalamoto almost lost it, and in fact he did. 7-point game, Jacksonville basketball. Jeff Besdelic asking our veteran officiating crew exactly what happened there.
Yeah, we'll find out a lot about both teams here. It goes inside right now. Yeah, he touches himself in.
And Jacksonville, the conversion the other way. A 3-pointer, and it's now a 4-point game.
This Jacksonville Dolphin team just won't go away. We kind of felt that Wake Forest would be in for a little struggle tonight with this team. This is a very talented team. Bad pass.
And another turnover, 9 against the Deeks. So after the Sam Hunt 3-pointer, Jacksonville a chance to slice it even further. Hunt for 3 again. Mackay the board.
Gutsy shot. Oh!
3-on-2. Hunt leading the way. Right side, Martin. Rejected by Mackay. Great defense that time. And sloppy play now on both ends. 3-on-1. Fleming, and he finally draws the foul. And after all of that, the Jacksonville Dolphins will have a chance to slice this. Fleming will cut this lead in half.
Wake Forest has been dominating their opponents in the paint in the last 3 basketball games, averaging about a 27-point margin, 46-19 as far as points in the paint. Today, they're not able to dominate that as much. And because of that, Jacksonville's getting some easy baskets and timely 3-point shots.
Cordario Fleming makes the second. He now has 8 points. The lead is trimmed to 3.
Closest we've been in a while, isn't it?
Closest we've been since the 16-minute mark in the first half. It's a 6-0 run by the Dolphins. And you can see the pep in their step defensively right now as well.
Williams in the ball game now for Wake Forest. Remember, he's an outstanding perimeter shooter. 2 out of 3 in the first half.
Ron Williams for 3. Short. Rebound Mackay. Back up. He's short. And Adalamoto in traffic can't convert. And somehow Mackay comes out of there with it. He'll draw the foul. And that's just tough love underneath the glass.
Shot goes up by Williams, missed, but Mackay does a nice job getting that, changes the shot just a bit. Adalamoto keeping it alive, bounding, down inside ugly. I like it down there like that. I like it. Go down there and just dig it out. Like you're digging for gold, you know, you pan it and get down there deep, and look what I found. And then you go to the free throw line, and see, you've been talking about Mackay hadn't missed free throw. See, I didn't bring that up.
Well, that was in the first half.
Okay. There's your out.
Travis will talk about it afterwards. Buries the second.
Travis bring Roy Philpott. That's who you blame.
Mackay 5 for 6 from the strike.
Yeah, if you're Jacksonville, you've worked very hard to get back in this game. Don't shoot yourself out of it.
Alderman, the turnaround jumper, fighting for the rebound. Can't get it. 2-on-1 fast break. Miller McIntyre again, silky smooth.
Oh, my goodness. Cody, don't hurt him.
Miller McIntyre with 10 points the other way, and a foul called. A late whistle that time, as going up strong was Vince Martin. And Jacksonville needed that one, but Cody Miller McIntyre, he doesn't need much of anything with this kind of talent.
All you need is air and opportunity. Shots missed, and quickly they get it out. And watch this move right there. Bam. Bam. That's nice. That's real nice.
Sophomore from Concord, North Carolina. Martin at the line shooting 2. And Jacksonville now 11 of 17 from the charity strike.
Good opportunity for Jacksonville to kind of slow themselves down going to the free throw line. Remember, said don't shoot yourself out. A couple of wild shots. Wake Forest able to convert on that. They missed the free throw, but now you can settle down your offense. Still a lot of time to go in this basketball game.
Under 15 to play. Karan Williams wide open, and why not?
Yeah, you got to get a hand in his face. That's too easy.
9 points, including 3 for 5 from behind the three-point arc.
You don't come up and contest Williams. He's going to make you pay.
Williams, the first ever fifth-year player to transfer into Wake Forest. Came to Winston-Salem from Robert Morris, a team that upset Kentucky in the NIT a season ago.
Kentucky didn't forget about it yesterday.
No, they did not. I saw part of that one as well. Dawson, a wild shot, rebound. Here comes Miller McIntyre, a rare miss.
A couple of bad shots out of Jacksonville, allowing Wake Forest the opportunity to score. Oh, that's nice.
Slauson inside.
Slauson able to catch, stop on a dime, and spin and score. What we were saying, they were taking some quick shots, and Wake Forest was taking advantage of it. You go inside to Slauson, now you're able to pack that zone again.
59-53 the score, and a foul will be called against Hunt. So Sam Hunt picks up his 4th. And you can see the frustration on his face. Freshman from right up the road in Greensboro. 13:28 to play. Wake Forest holding on to this 6-point lead. And here's Mackay, top of the key. Karan Williams wanted it. And now Mackay.
A much better job that time defensively by Martin, coming out and contesting Williams on the three-point opportunity.
Wake Forest 5 of 13.
Walk.
And a travel against Haywood.
Teams sometimes when you've been behind and you get back in it with some transition baskets or a long-range jump shot, you tend to say, okay, let me stay fast and make the quick play. There's not going to be a 6-point play, I doubt. So just settle down, run your offense, and become more and more efficient. Those shots are going to continue to come if you'll do what you've got to do.
Jacksonville remains in that 2-3 zone. They've been in it most of the night. Mackay with authority. Mackay now with 17 points to lead all scorers.
And trying to find Williams allows for a gap on the weak side. You swing the ball, and Mackay so quick at 6'6", 6'7", can drive to the hole and score. And one.
Another strong move for Vince Martin. Well, Jacksonville refusing to go away. Vince Martin playing a large role in that. Now with 8 points.
See, Williams sticks that leg in at the last moment. Martin showing a lot of athleticism getting to the hole. They really like this kid. The graduates, like we said, from Harris College, was one of the top players in the Peach Belt Conference last year. And what he can do is he can score in bunches. He's not afraid to defend at 6'2". And here's what I like about him. You can see he's kind of got a wide shoulders. He'll go in there and rebounds. Had a couple of games this year where he's already had over 5 rebounds. Had 7 in their win against Florida College.
Back to a 5-point lead.
You love that out of your guards.
Yeah, the first time these teams have met in nearly 30 years. Wake Forest leads the all-time series 5-0. The three-point miss by Williams, and here come the Dolphins. Haywood in the paint, strong finish. Jarvis Haywood now with 14. Jacksonville back within 3.
Now's the time we step up if you're Wake Forest. If you're Jacksonville, continue to play good defense. Contest.
Dalamoto patient in the paint. Can't convert. Here come the Dolphins again. Martin all the way to the rack. The tip in is good. And coming in was Marcel White. And a timeout will be called by Jeff Bezdelic.
Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Dolphins. Does it flip or what?
We'll go with it.
I missed that day in class.
I know this. Warren's the all-time winningest coach in Jacksonville history, and trying to get this team back with a winning mark this year. A near turnover, saving it as Roundtree.
Roundtree in the ball game now can give you a little athleticism. Williams on the wing, skip pass gets him wide open down to the lower part of your screen.
And Roundtree, a wild shot, gets his own rebound. Alderman the board. Jacksonville has yet to lead in this contest. They can grab it right here. And amongst the trees, there goes Haywood. Jacksonville now leads Wake Forest by a point.
And Haywood recognized a little high ball screen there, is able to put the ball to the floor. You see the benefit of the new rules. You can't really hand check right there. Normally you would have been stopped. That's easy access to the basket.
A 9-0 run by Jacksonville in the last 90 seconds erases the Wake Forest lead. McIntyre the miss. Shot clock resets. Williams for 3, a big basket there.
Nice look, unselfish play by Roundtree. Gave up a shot to give a better shooter an opportunity to knock down jumper.
Wake Forest 40% from behind the arc tonight. Martin the fadeaway. Alderman the rebound and a foul. As Alderman pushed off to grab it. And that'll be his third personal foul. 10:19 remaining. Martin the fadeaway. Alderman the rebound and a foul. As Alderman pushed off to grab it. And that'll be his third personal foul. 10:19 remaining. Jacksonville trailing Wake Forest 64-62. Wake Forest leading Jacksonville 64-62. Demon Deacons trying to remain undefeated early part of this season as we welcome you back here, Lawrence Scholl Coliseum. Roy Philpott, Stan Luter here with you. And big shot moments ago, Stan, by Karan Williams. That's why he transferred to this program, to provide that kind of shot making in the clutch. And we've seen it tonight and through these first 3.5 games, now with 12 points off the Wake bench.
Williams is a very good knockdown shooter. 6 of 15 three-point shots for Wake Forest. Williams has made 4 of those. This is continuing that hot streak from Friday night where he made 6 threes. Now if you're Wake Forest with 10:19 to go, what do you have to do? You got to do a better job defending. We talked all game long about Wake Forest dominating the paint. Since that last timeout at halftime, the worm has kind of turned a little bit. Jacksonville, 34-30 points on the paint. And Wake Forest were dominating this season in bench points. They've done a really good job of outscoring opponents almost by a margin of 13 points a ball game. So far, the bench of Jacksonville's come in at 30-24 bench points.
Thomas at the line, 2 for 2 there tonight. Thomas 7 points, 11 rebounds. As Cliff Warren looks on, this would be a big win for his program and a nice boost if they can find a way to steal one on the road. Madison Jones will check in for Roundtree. And Wake Forest pushing that lead back to 4 as we get set to move under 10 minutes to play. Alderman inside to Fleming, out of bounds. And for Jacksonville, that'll be their 11th turnover of the game.
Everybody, a little ball moving right time. High pass, just not able to get his hands on it. McIntyre did just enough to make it very difficult for that catch to be made.
Jacksonville 11, make that 10 of 20 from the field in this second half after shooting just 40% in the first. Starting to find the range a little bit. They need a stop here. 10 to shoot for Williams.
Oh, what a steal.
Miller McIntyre has his pocket pick. That's Vince Martin. And now Haywood in the paint and one. Jarvis Haywood now with 18 points and catching fire in this second half.
Plays like this turn games around. Watch this steal by Martin. Just a clean pick. And now in the open court. Takes it, takes your time, and then watch this. The athleticism. Getting guys, what Jacksonville's done a really nice job of over the last 15 minutes is being able to play in open court. Getting driving lanes and then being able to finish plays.
Haywood completes the three-point play. Back to a 1-point Wake Forest lead. Now both of these teams trading body shots here.
Haywood with 19 points, 17 the other night against Gardner-Webb.
Devin Thomas inside, no foul called. Rebound, finally controlled by the Dolphins. Here comes Martin again. The left hand off the glass.
Thought he was going to pull it up that time and gain control of it. He had a better idea. Jacksonville's got the lead again.
Martin with 11 points. Jacksonville, a quick 6-0 run to erase that 5-point Wake advantage.
And there you see Jacksonville extending their defense just a little bit. Wake Forest standing around a little too much. Got to move the ball.
Miller McIntyre for 3.
Miller McIntyre recognizes where the soft spots in the zone, was there to set his feet, knocks down a big-time jump shot.
Last time that we saw Jacksonville take the lead, Koron Williams had the big 3 ball. This time it's Miller McIntyre.
Plenty of time.
Martin with the high screen, nearly loses it. Gets to Alderman, rejected inside by Thomas. Outstanding defense by the Deeks. And Koron Williams off the glass.
Next dead ball will be a TV timeout. Cliff Warren trying to just say, guys, settle down. Let's work through this. Doesn't want to use one of those timeouts now. They only have 3 remaining. Got to get a good shot here. Everybody gets a touch. Look for the guys making plays. Haywood would be one of those, number 11.
Haywood's been red hot, 7 of 11 from the field. Inside he goes to Fleming. And the turnover. And Fleming can't believe it. He'll plead his case to no avail. Wake Forest runs First 12 minutes of this second half have the Dolphins right back in it. And Jacksonville remaining in that 2-3 zone, almost baiting the Demon Deacons to shoot the three. Jones from 14, way off. And the rebound a Holder.
We're about to say Wake Forest was showing a lot of patience in that zone that time, looking for a good shot. Had a reasonably nice shot there, just didn't fall in. Now if you're Jacksonville, take your time, move the ball, get the ball in the right shooter's hands.
Inside Slauson. R.J. Slauson now with 9 points and an easy finish there.
Slauson did a nice job of staying low and using that wide body and then elevating above the crowd at 6'9" for an easy hoop.
Inside out, Kavanaugh draws the foul. Slauson standing there, arms extended. And he'll be whistled for his fourth.
With 6:29, I think Slauson's going to go out of the game. Let's take a look here and see what happens. Not a lot of contact, not a lot. They're going to want to protect the airborne shooter. Second, there was some contact.
Kavanaugh has struggled with his three-point shot this year. 2 for 6 from the field tonight. And now with 6 points. Stan, we've mentioned this several times. A lot of nice working parts for this Wake Forest team. It may be a situation for Jeff Bezdelic to find the combination that works best come January.
And also what works best in certain situations. If you have that versatility, you may can take a guy like Mackay, instead of putting him at the low block or the mid block, you may have him in the perimeter if you've got better inside guys on the floor. Slauson goes out of the game at 6:29. Jacksonville down 4.
Here's Sam Hunt over to Marcel White. Dolphins need a basket. White's provided a spark and gets the roll here from 17. Just inside the three-point arc. White now with 12 points. Kavanaugh again, a strong finish under the basket.
Jacksonville so concerned with where Williams is located on the floor that opens up some areas to score inside. Kavanaugh, nice job pump fake and score.
Fleming the miss from point-blank range. Wake Forest a 4-point lead. Make it 6 after the goaltend. And the Demon Deacons out in front now, 77-71 as Cody Miller-McIntyre pours in his 14th and 15th points of the game.
And I'm not certain if there was some contact or conversation at the end of this play. You can see easily coming from the weak side, ball in his downward flight. There's the goaltending. There's the goaltending call. And then afterwards, something happened. Can't exactly tell you where. And from our vantage point, we won't.
So a technical foul has been called against Cody Miller-McIntyre. Stan, I'm not sure if he said something to the officials or maybe said something to a Jacksonville player. In any case, that'll be Miller-McIntyre's second. And now Hunt will head to the free throw line for 2 shots. And this could be a big sequence in this game, as Jacksonville will also have possession of the basketball. Sam Hunt now with 12 points. 4 Jacksonville players in double figures. Slauson 1 point away from getting there as well.
What a welcome home for Sam Hunt. Kid played out right down the road in Greensboro at Dudley High School. Played in the East-West All-Star game just a few months ago at the Coliseum, one of the big events in high school basketball in this state. He's come back and said, hey, look, I know this arena.
4-point game. Under 5.5 to play. Wide open 3-ball. Dawson. Thomas and Fleming battling for the loose ball. It goes out of bounds to the Dolphins.
At the end of this play, watch Miller-McIntyre, number 0. Watch him point. And see, what I'm thinking you're saying is counted, but see, he keeps talking about it. Kind of never got away from the play, and the ref's getting with a type A, a Class A technical foul.
Inside Kavanaugh, now with 11.
And that's because they're afraid of the perimeter shot. Both guys are just kind of slashing to the middle. Nice inside passing, post to post, gets the basket out of that.
Dario Fleming, the traveling violation. And Stan, every time we've seen the ball go inside of Cordario Fleming, it seems as if a play like that happens. He's kind of struggled close to the paint tonight at times.
Yeah, see, get him away from his comfort zone there. There's a jump stop, and then kind of another extra stop, and then not really a good shot even though. You got to square up. Wake Forest can get himself some breathing room with better half-court execution now. And they're attacking his zone with basically a 1-3-1 set.
Here's Teron Williams. Rebound Thomas. And he loses control. 3-on-2 as Marcel White pulls it out. Haven't heard from Haywood in a while, this time in the paint. And the traveling violation called before the foul, and Cliff Warren can't believe it.
So there's the tie-up. I think it's a play on.
Mackay open for three, and what a big exchange that was.
Wow, you think about a basket can cut you down the lead. Now you hit a big-time three. Now maybe Cliff Warren wants to take that timeout. You got to show some poise right now for Jacksonville. Can't rush a shot.
Javon Dawson outside Haywood. And this is who you want with the ball in his hands. Loses it. Good defense by the Demon Deacons. Miller McIntyre would have had an easy fast break layup. And the foul called as Javon Dawson picks up his first.
And when you think about that, that's this excellent defensive play before that, and then now cutting off the baseline. Mackay's got the active hands. Like the idea, you got the ball in Haywood's hands. He's been a guy who's been able to create off the bounce. But just better defense the last couple of possessions by Wake Forest. At a time when you need to play good defense, they've stepped up and done it. Stops runs, gets baskets.
Cody Miller McIntyre, 3 straight games with 20-plus points, has 16 tonight. A very efficient 7 of 13 from the floor. And Stan, all of a sudden, Wake Forest back out in front by 10.
Isn't it amazing what happens when you can get a couple of scores and a couple of stops? What was a 2 or 3 point ball game now can be an 11-point game.
Under 4 minutes to play. Dolphins need a basket.
And if you're Jacksonville, you've got to understand the concept of time and score.
Marcel White. Marcel White, a 3-point opportunity. And he'll be shooting the free throw when we come back. 83-75. Wake Forest, an 8-point lead.
Was on the All-Atlantic Sun freshman team his freshman year in 2011. Now a senior, led them in 3-point baskets returning. They had 5 guys that were averaging double figures. If White can establish himself as a scoring opportunity, man, I tell you what, you better look out for this Jacksonville team in the A-Sun.
Picked 4th in the Atlantic Sun by the preseason media types. Also in the coaches poll. And here's Travis Mackay with 12 to shoot. Kavanaugh looking for that first 3 ball. Can't get it. Devin Thomas fighting for that loose ball. And the possession arrow will favor Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville players did something very smart. They're diving after the loose ball, and then you could hear somebody saying communication. They knew that the possession arrow was going that way. Didn't want to use that timeout with 3:16 remaining.
So R.J. Slauson. And also Haywood checking back in. Slauson, remember, with 4 fouls. And Haywood, a team-high 19 points for the Dolphins.
Haywood went out of the game at the 6:29 mark. Wake Forest was up by 2 points. We can see if he can bring back this margin.
And a timeout will be called as Jacksonville. Atlantic Sun put FGCU in the NCAA tournament a season ago. Mercer went into the NIT. Three-pointer by Slauson. Gets his own rebound somehow, draws the foul. Well, don't go anywhere just yet. Under 3 to play. Jacksonville can cut this Wake lead down to 6.
Slauson not known as a three-point shooter, but this is a long rebound. Wake Forest guys really did a nice job of boxing out, but no one went after the basketball. Possession's not over until you get the ball. The guy's talking about that. Slauson goes in, follows his shot.
R.J. Slauson now with 10 points, 2 for 2 from the stripe.
On the season, Jacksonville shooting about 71% from the free throw line.
Such an advantage this season in college basketball as teams begin to adjust to these new rules. If you can shoot free throws, you can shoot yourself right back into a game. You're trailing by a large deficit. So Slauson goes back to the bench. Alderman checks in. And also Holder back on the floor. And Hunt back to the bench. Force led by 9 at halftime. Jacksonville regained the lead twice in this second half. And now the Demon Deacons with a 6-point advantage.
That 1-2-1-1 three-quarter court pressure just slows Wake Forest down just enough. They don't get in their offense to about 22 seconds on the shot clock.
Backdoor cut for Mackay following Thomas. Dalamoto underneath. 5 to shoot, and Thomas, a wild drive. The blocking foul called. And boy, that one looked dangerous from the get-go.
Must secure the rebound here. Dalamoto does a nice job, kicks it out, and a full head of steam as Mr. Thomas has come in, and let's see what's going to happen. Easy call, it's a block. Not in defensive position, not established anything. Offensive player was in the offensive motion, had taken the ball in a playing, gathering step, for lack of a better term.
That was Cordario Fleming. The wrong end of that hit from Thomas. He now has 4 fouls, as does Hunt and Slauson for Jacksonville. Devin Thomas, 8 points, 15 rebounds tonight. How about 5 assists to go along with it? And a chance for his 3rd straight double-double, but misses the first. Sounds of the game right here. Have a listen to this one. Big free throw, Thomas. And a rebound to Slauson. Jacksonville with a chance. Martin for 3. Came up short. 16 boards now for the sophomore Devin Thomas.
Looks like Jacksonville's going to get out of the zone now. Got to recognize that if you're Wake Forest, run your half-court sets. Be a little more efficient with the basketball. Shorten the distance, test your passes. If you're Jacksonville, be smart defensively. 10 seconds on the clock. Don't need to foul now. Play solid.
141. The teardrop in and out. Mackay the rebound. And he'll be shooting free throws. Travis Mackay, 20 points tonight to go along with 10 rebounds. He's done a little bit of everything for this Wake Forest team. And the foul called against Cordario Fleming. That'll be his 5th. And the sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee, pleading his case to his head coach, Cliff Warren. Well, that'll be all she wrote for Mr. Fleming tonight. Karan Dawson back on the floor. I'm not sure Fleming thought that he had 5 fouls in that sequence.
Checking the monitor. Make sure they got the right person. Get a good look there.
And Fleming also having
only 67%. So you're going to have to seal the deal without turnovers and making free throws.
We'll take another look at that foul once again to see what the officials were looking at. As Mackay buries both. Now an 8-point Wake Forest lead. A critical possession for the Dolphins.
Very much so. Find Haywood. He's being guarded by Mackay. Away from the basketball. Let him get a touch.
Sam Hunt foot was on the line. Rebound Dawson. And a foul on the floor. As coming in was Karan Williams.
Javon Dawson's been kind of quiet tonight. He's a kid that transferred in from the University of Utah. Good size. They like the fact that he can step out. He's a banger. But not really putting up a lot of points. But then gets a chance to get on the board here at the free throw line.
Jacksonville trailing by 8. This will be a 1-and-1 for Dawson. 0 for 1 from the line tonight. Make it 0 for 2. A big miss there. Rebound Adalamoto.
You got to think fouling right now if you're Jacksonville. Adalamoto shoots about 60%. Might be one of the guys you want to foul.
And Wake Forest content to run its motion offense to chew up some clock. And Miller McIntyre's not the player you want to foul. Although just 1 for 2 tonight. 76% for the season. So under a minute to play, Wake Forest leading by 8. Demon Deacons trying to win their 4th game and as many tries this year. Coming off the heels of a 13-18 season last year.
Make this free throw. I think if you Wake Forest, you have to extend some pressure. And even if you miss it, I think you got to put some pressure on Jacksonville. Make them work to get the ball up. I don't know if you'll have enough possessions, that of Jacksonville, to win this basketball game. Still got a shot.
Yep, in and out. .50 seconds remaining. Outside Dawson for 3. Down it goes.
We were in a similar situation yesterday, I think, when Belmont, North Carolina, a couple possessions, final minute.
Yep.
The Heels don't execute.
Alamoto, nice pass ahead to Miller McIntyre, and nearly converted the and-one opportunity.
And Alderman's got to be smarter than that. You can't put your hand up there even by accident and touch it. Watch at the end of the play. Good job by Miller McIntyre. He feels contact, get it up. But watch Alderman come through there and just kind of slap the backboard. A lot of officials are going to call that as a technical foul. And you see at the end of the play, Williams kind of gets his hand up there around the rim. Stay away from the basketball when you hear that whistle blow.
Miller McIntyre, 17 points and misses the free throw. And that's just what the doctor ordered for the Dolphins. Slauson checking back in, Holder back to the Jacksonville bench.
You push this down, it doesn't matter if you have a 2 or a 3 necessarily, you got to get a basket. If you're Jacksonville, should Miller McIntyre make or miss?
7-point Wake Forest lead.
And your 3-possession game, you got to look for a 3, but I need an easy basket. I need something quick.
Martin out front to Dawson. Spin move rejected by Adalamoto. How sweet was that?
Adalamoto showing a nice job of moving his feet and those long arms. Good spin here by Dawson. Watch Adalamoto come up, contest, no foul. Balls goes out of bounds, 25 to go.
Back to live action, and Sam Hunt just buried another. Back within 4 points as we have another look.
Screen there, rub. You see Hunt just continue to move and just confidence to knock that shot in. Extend this game as long as you can.
Kai will trigger. Kavanaugh will be fouled. And that's not the Wake Forest player you wanted to foul. 86% coming in, and 3 for 4 tonight.
Nice job there. Clock management by Jacksonville. 25 seconds and some change after the made basket. 24.6. So you didn't lose less than a second. Recognize where the ball was, pick up the foul. Now, can Kavanaugh convert on free throws?
Couple of big ones here.
Smooth.
Kavanaugh now with 12 points. 4 Wake Forest players in double figures, led by Mackay's 22. Jacksonville still alive, trailing by 5. 20 seconds to play. Here's Martin. And now back to the hot hand, Hunt. Martin an open look. And the ball hit the in line. Wake Forest will take over with 10 and change remaining. That may just about do it.
Nice job in the early part of that offense by Dalamoto and coming out and contesting, making it hard for Martin to take the shot. When the ball got reversed, Martin had a really nice look at that. The left-handed jumper just goes off the rim, kicks back, goes on the baseline. Demon Deacon basketball.
Again, it comes to Kavanaugh, quickly ahead to Miller McIntyre. And the late foul with 4.1 seconds remaining. Well, Miller McIntyre has scored 20 points or more 3 straight games. He'll get a chance to make it 4 if he can make both of these.
You talk about the turnaround in his game, the more confidence. He only had 1 20-point game last season. I think the Demon Deacons will get away with this one. But they knew they were in a fight tonight.
Yeah. And Miller McIntyre now with 20 points. And that'll do it. Our final score this evening here at Joel Coliseum, 90-83. Wake Forest wins its 4th game in as many tries. The Jacksonville Dolphins, out of the Atlantic Sun, fall to 1-3. Well, that'll do it from here in Winston-Salem. For Stan Luter, I'm Roy Philpott, reminding you once again our final score, 90-83. Wake Forest defeats Jacksonville. And to remind you, you can watch all of our games via replay on Watch ESPN, the Watch ESPN app, or WatchESPN.com.